Woo! Timing.
I love that.
Perfect timing.
So,
I know it's
so,
like
so
I'm always like, still.
who wrote that?
Michael,
Who wrote that?
my
Go ahead,
son.
Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael. Oh,
Go
Hounded,
ahead, Michael.
hounded. You know how parents got it. Somebody else said, "Oh, can you do X, Y, and Z?" It's done like in 2 days. I asked for something. I asked for something. It's a month no sir.
it's all
What's
good. You
up?
did a good job. We thank you, Michael, for that. Appreciate it.
Quick,
So what's
quick
going
addendum,
on?
real quick. Quick
Hmm?
addendum, real quick. Quick addendum, real quick. You know what I'm starting to. You know what I'm starting to feel?
What?
Cell phone neck.
What you
Doing
mean?
What
this
do you mean?
Uh, uh, uh,
Oh,
and right here on the back of my neck. So I'm reminding myself to literally. I'm stretching like this and to keep my phone up. I was walking like this the other day, just because I'm so used to doing this.
mm-hmm.
You know, you can't help but just do this, and that puts a strain
yeah,
on the back of your neck. You
yeah.
know?
So I'm
Do you
having
have a?
Not
cell
only that, when
phone.
you get hunchback, so you got to kind of like sit up, like when you're sitting in your chair, you got to put your shoulders back because Lord knows I don't want to be one of those women with a hunchback.
Oh, don't say that. Oh my God.
Well,
I'm trying.
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
trying to limit the cell phone because I've just spent too much time just scrolling through things. I mean, it's good, you like to find out information like right away, but my thumb literally hurts because I scroll so much.
Oh
So I'm like
wow.
constantly massaging it, and because I'm scrolling, playing games, I'm texting all the time. It's ridiculous. It's too much. So I'm trying to call people more and not text, and then not be so involved and like just looking on TikTok. TikTok has got me. It's got me.
Same, same,
Oh wow.
same,
It has
same.
got
It's like every morning I wake up, I got to go to the TikTok and see all the
It's too
messiness and
much.
debauchery.
It's too
Love it.
much.
But
It's too much.
anyway,
I mean, I can hit and go with TikTok. Instagram, obviously, I get caught up in my little algorithm, but
yeah. But
you know,
speaking of TikTok, Shahida, go on now. You got something for us.
okay. Before we start the recap of Married at First Sight, I've just been noticing, like, especially on TikTok, a lot of relationship posts that just kind of blow my mind. It says, like, do women, especially black men and women, do they know how to date? Do you know how to court? So this one woman, she did a video, and she was talking about how she gave up traveling for Thanksgiving one day late because this guy said he wanted to hang out with her and told her to cancel her plans. Now I know that sounds stupid. This is somebody she just started dating, but she was digging him, right? And so she gave up her plans and didn't hear from him all morning. In the afternoon, she texted him, didn't respond. Then he texts her at 11 p.m. And at 11 p.m., he says to her, "What are you doing?" What is that?
exactly.
The back? Oh, okay. So at 11 p.m., text him, "What are you doing?" He texts her, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Nothing." He's like, "Can I come over?" And then she's just like, "Okay." Said, "Okay." Then you know what he said to her? Con- Convince me why I should come over. So basically, her
Oh
to tell him that when he got there, he was going to whatever.
man,
She's just dumb. I hate to say that, and I really hate to say that about my fellow women and silly sisters, that she's just dumb because number one, I got my plans. I don't care if I'm head over heels in love with you. I made my plans. I'll see you after Thanksgiving. I'll see you when I get back. And we'll make some plans. Other than that, mm-mm. Now,
So
the fact that she waited all day. See,
yeah,
let me just give a hypothetical. Now, had I said, okay, I'll stick around, but if I didn't hear from him, like I'd give him grace of maybe like 3 hours tops, and then I'm gone. Like I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna just figure it out, and I'm getting the hell up out of here. And that's it. No. And then
so
he would be left on read the whole time.
so we lost Chris for a second, and really
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him, but I agree with everything you said. You know, I would say yes. There's an issue with. I get that you like somebody a lot and you really want to get to know them, but at the end of the day, you have to have respect for yourself first. And somebody not reaching out to you all day after they told you to cancel your plans, to me, is playing with you in your face. He
Hmm.
is literally testing to see how far he can go, because the fact that he texts you at 11 o'clock and is just like, well, you know, convince me, that right there deserved a response,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. The convince me alone is just a whole nother level of disrespect that I'm not even entertaining. No,
So the
we're
thing I
not doing
wanted
that.
to ask Chris as a man, we've had this discussion amongst ourselves, before about dating etiquette, or how a man should, like, the things that a man should do, walk, on the street, on the actual street side and stuff like that. What do you think the issue is with people not knowing how to date? And I'm just going to say that it's men and women. I'm sorry about that. I'm on my phone. It's men and women. But can we just look at men today, like at this moment, for the next couple of minutes?
I think first of all, it's not just well when another woman on TikTok or Instagram said she had a guy come up to the door with flowers, and she was like, "That's mad corny." And then he went and opened the door, and she got in, and she kept texting like her friend, like, "This dude is corny." She's like, "He did everything that we said we asked for, but I didn't feel right about it." First of all, I think it comes down to personal interaction in the past 5 years, especially since pandemic, has gone right down the tubes. Everyone's so used to having a screen in front of them, being able to hide behind things. No one has personal introductions anymore. No one has, and especially these millennials growing up too, the younger ones, they really don't know how to relate to someone else in terms of common respect, in terms of um, common sense. A lot of times, we're so used to not interacting with one. It's so easy not to interact with someone now when you don't have to. So I think that's bled into the dating aspects of it, because if you can get away with, because the reason why he said, what is it? What are you doing at 11 o'clock, or tell me a reason to
Mm-hmm.
come over, is
Mm-hmm.
because it's work. It's work with somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
because someone else is like, you know what, you know, I don't really feel like, yeah, well, yeah, I guess you can come over. Like, why don't you come over? Because you can hide behind that, and everything is so convenient and disposable. Things are disposable now. People are disposable. If you don't like someone here, there's always someone over here. If you like someone, there's always someone over here. You can have a whole litany of people lined up. You're like, well, what's the best option for me to go for? So I think there's between the lack of personal interaction between people, common etiquette between people, and people just and lazy. People just lazy too.
Basically, I think he did it because he could. And this story is obviously came out. This is the first time we're hearing about this episode. I'm leading me to believe that this isn't the first time that he's done this to her.
Well, no,
And he
they
did it
had
because
just
he could.
started. they had just started like maybe like 2 3 weeks, she was saying. So I mean, it could have, but you know, I mean, that was a big deal for her to like actually cancel her plans. She was feeling him, and I'm not gonna I'm trying to think, was I this desperate when I was like 20 something? And I was
No,
married
I
at
don't think
20
so.
something, so I don't know, but I might have been desperate enough to get married. So I don't know,
It's a different
because
I will
generation,
say
man.
this.
Di-
I will say this. I have never canceled travel plans. Like I might have canceled, like I might have had, I know I have like had planned to go out for drinks with like some girlfriends or dinner with a friend or whatever. I've had after work, things going on, social things going on that I might have canceled to because, whoever I was dating at the time or when I was married said, you know what, they have something for us to do, and I have canceled out on other people for that. But when it comes down to stuff like that, like if I'm going home to see my family for Thanksgiving and there's like actual travel plans involved in that, yeah, no, I'm not canceling that. I'm going to see my people, or I'm going on a trip, or I'm doing whatever, and I'll see you when I get back. I don't think that even though they had been dating like for what 2 weeks or what have you, um,
and
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
even
that he's
think
ghosted her. I'm
dating,
pretty sure that
dating.
she's been sitting around like this on the phone. She probably texted him to be like, "Hi, how you doing? How was your day?" And I'm pretty sure he's left her on read for like several hours and then hit her up at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, like, "Oh, hey, what you doing?"
I,
I
I
don't know
don't know. If
Sarah's not
she
doing
would.
that
I
shit.
don't know if she would cancel her Thanksgiving plans if it was that casual. There must have been something more, not just feeling him, but there must have been something more to it for her to cancel her plans.
Well, what she had said was that before then, he was like all attentive. There was no like, oh,
Hmm.
left on read or anything. And so I think once he realized that she had canceled her plans, then he was like, damn, I'm in.
For sure.
Because before then, it seemed like he was putting in the time, like paying her that attention. And again, I'm coming back to Chris because I'm just asking, and we can definitely, we'll definitely talk about women, but I'm noticing a lot like, okay, so let's talk about my own child for a second, right? And then I have another. So he was telling me he was putting there's something on TikTok and people were making like these boxes and stuff for their girlfriends. You got to put all this stuff, and he's running around town doing this to put this box. But that's who he is. I will give it to him. He courts. I will give it to him. But then on the other hand, I'm telling it to somebody else. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And it's like, okay, but what things do you do to make a person feel like, oh, you're all in, or that you are, interested in this person, and you're gonna just do more than just, oh, text them on the phone and go to their house. What more are you doing? Well, I don't have to do a whole lot, is the response. And I'm like, well, when did we just stop? And then you brought up because of the pandemic. And I think a lot of it has to do with internet and then all these websites where you don't have to, like, it's always next, next, next. So
Mm-hmm.
people are not courting. Then I saw the worst video on TikTok where this black guy said that he noticed that Tanya's gonna lose her fucking mind. I'm just saying what this black guy said on TikTok, and I'm gonna put up the links for this too. He said that he noticed that all these black women who are with these black men who are not courting them, giving them the time of day, and I'm paraphrasing a lot, not giving them the time of day, end up dating outside their race and are much happier.
I saw that. I did. I saw that.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you and Chris. And I'm like, okay, that might be a stretch, but are we not courting and dating? And I'm not seeing it.
You don't have to coordinate anymore. That's the point.
But other people are saying that they are being courted and dated.
Well, from a different race, though, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So the men are doing the courting from a different race.
This is what this black man is saying. I mean,
Are you
because
saying that the women
I
are
don't like
courting?
to. Hmm?
Is he courting the women, or are they courting him?
No, he's saying that white men are courting black women who are not, who have like said, you know what, I'm not getting this from black men, so I'm just gonna start dating outside, like, whether it be Hispanic or white or Asian. I couldn't believe Asians are in the picture now, which is shocking because I know quite a few people just here in Rhode Island dating Asian men.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
Everybody speaks.
I'm just gonna say this. Look, I know that the dating pool is tainted, obviously, and when you just look at the numbers of the number of black women ratio to black men, and there's a lot of black men that obviously date outside of their race, marry outside of their race, that what's left over for black women is basically scraps. Um, so I'm not
There's
going to begrudge
there's
it. I'm
yeah,
not
I
going
don't
to.
know about that. There's
I'll
more
say that. That's
other
why.
races than
Listen,
there are of African Americans. I mean, just by numbers.
y'all there?
I'm here.
Chris is having a
Did I?
Shahida moment right now
Yeah.
with the
And
Wi-Fi.
you're gonna have to cut this part out or send it
I'm
to
gonna.
me. I
I'm
can
gonna
cut it out.
actually hold on. I'm just gonna hold on. Hold on.
Where if you have just by numbers, if you had, we'll say Caucasian, if there's 6 to 7 to 1, in terms of black men, black men, white men that can court, or even we'll put an Asian in there, we'll put a Latino man in there. That's more of a ratio. One of those people are going to be able to, or could court. So I wouldn't, say that
And I
there
don't
are
even
black
want.
men that are courting. There are black men that are courting out there.
And you did mention one. He brought flowers to this woman, and then she acted like that. I mean, and I think it's like
Even,
the
even
same
going to
thing.
that the Cheesecake Factory lady.
Exactly, exactly. So we
That
know.
was. I don't
But
even
here's
want
the.
to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that Cheesecake Factory thing because it got everybody in a tizzy. Again, now I have trust issues with shit on TikTok and Instagram, what have you, because after all of that, it was a skit. That wasn't even real.
Uh,
They both came
I
out.
would just
They both
mention
came
that one
out.
too.
They both did individual podcasts and interviews with people, and then they both came out together saying it was a skit. They just figured, we got together and figured that would be cool. Let's post that kind of video and see what kind of things we can get. I mean, it is a talkable. It is something to
Yeah, but
communicate about because
it did
And it does
spark a
happen.
conversation. Yeah.
right. Because I don't, of course, you know me, I don't mind me some cheesecake. I'll go to cheesecake. Applebee's now, that's problematic. Olive Garden, Red Lobster, absolutely not.
I don't know if well, I'm kind of old, my old age, but my thing is I don't like the idea of pitting us against one another with these kind of conversations. I really don't. But at the same time, I do see that younger people, but it's not just younger people because it's people our age, which is really shocking
Yep,
too, that
yep.
you really go into a situation acting like you're some feral animal and you don't know how to do, like Tanya always says, you gotta call me, schedule a date, pick a place, put some effort into it. And I don't
And
see people putting effort in.
here's my
Hmm?
theory about that too. Just like with the millennials, that they don't know any better because it's very convenient and everything is easy for them. I think men, maybe in their 40s and 50s, are tired of having to do all of that stuff, and now that it's easier for them to do it, they're like, well, I might as well just do this. I think
Oh, is that
because
it? Tired?
it's just a theory, because growing up in high school and in college, if you didn't talk to a woman, you were not going on a date. If you did not, there was no cell phones or texts or, Instagram and something or the other. If you did not have a conversation with a woman, you were not going out with that woman. So there could be fatigue. I'm not saying there is, but I'm saying a theory could be, after working so hard for so long on trying to ask women out and doing the right thing, and this and the other, not working out, or working out. If it's very convenient for someone to just like hit a DM or text or social media, maybe that's one of the things of like, well, I don't really have to work for it. So why not just take the easy road out? Because men wouldn't do it if it wasn't working. If women were not actually saying, okay, well, there's an Instagram video I saw the other day, a reel, and the woman was like, I don't want to, she's like, I'm going on a date right now, and I don't want to go. I just want to be on the couch and make out with somebody I know. I don't want to go on a date anymore. I just want to make out on the couch with something. Now I have to go through all the things that people may be tired of going out and dating. I'm telling you, and pandemic really messed up a whole lot of things in terms of social interaction. We were isolated to ourselves and had to figure out a way to pleasure ourselves, to talk to people, to connect with people through the video, that people got used to it, and now they can't really go back. These are just theories. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just saying these could be reasons for why people are lazier now. Because if you can see who this person is, like if you're in a bar and you see an attractive man or attractive woman, you start talking, then you take it to the next level, maybe. But when you're on Instagram or Facebook or this, that, and the other, you can see all about this person, who they are, where they work, what they do, how they interact, where they're going. Even if some of it's fake, it's still, you're seeing some representation of who they are and not really who they are.
I agree 100. I mean, like I saw a video, and I know I'm deterring from this, but I was kind of like, wow, that is so true. Like, we are the last generation to experience life without the internet, to experience life without cell phones, to experience life without like cable TV,
without dating apps,
without
It's the
apps.
dating apps.
Yeah, with
it's a
dating apps, with everything, with basic, I mean, cell phone, internet, all of that. Like, we're the last generation of that. Like the kids, the next generation after us, they are all experiencing that. So all I'm gonna say is, this is a perfect example of why I've taken myself out of the game. I just don't have the energy anymore to try to get to know anybody. I'm done. I don't even want to date. I don't want to get to know you. I'm out. I'm out of this game. Linda Evangelista just said it this morning. She put out a statement. She's like, I'm done with dating. I don't even want to sleep next to nobody. I don't want nobody to touch me. I don't want none of this stuff. I'm done. And I just responded and was like, girl, same. So and I agree with you, Chris, that Linda Evangelista, remember the supermodel
the
from the
model, she's
90s?
supermodel.
Okay. All right. Yep. I thought it. Okay.
But I agree with you, Chris. I do agree that the pandemic has kind of messed things up for people, as far as like people are at home, people are in lockdown. People aren't really like going out and asking people out on
It's
dates anymore
social
because
interaction.
everything's online. It's just everything's online. Like, I can go to somebody's TikTok, I can see somebody's video on TikTok and be like, oh, he's attractive. And what can I do? I can follow him, and then I can send him a DM. It's the same with Instagram and Facebook, and then whatever dating apps that are out there, Bumble, whatever the hell else. It's just so easy. Rather than like back in the day for us, we would just go to a bar or a nightclub or a restaurant, and you can meet somebody and talk to them.
And even for the men, she may not look like what you think she looks like, because they take the best picture and put themselves on there. They have makeup. If you look on these dating apps, if you see someone like
Filters.
this, like no, not even filters. All their pictures are like this, like this and like this and like this and like this, and you never see a full body shot. They've got a little extra junk in the in the shot. Usually, they're
Yeah,
trying to
right.
hide something. So, but when you talk to someone in person, you can get an idea of what they look like, how they are, their feeling. But people don't do that anymore. People don't go to bars. When's the last time you went to a bar? I mean, people go to bars anymore? They don't go to bars if you wanted to meet someone, we used to go to remember we used to go to clubs. That's what we used
The
to do. When you
club
were
back in the day.
25 years, you had to go to a club to see a fine
Yep.
ass woman or a man, or where else would you meet people? A bar or a club? Black people leaving the clubs.
That's where I met my ex-husband, right at the officers club, Shahida, right there in Saugus.
Or the mall, the club or the mall. People order Amazon now. You don't have to go. You don't have to go anywhere anymore. But people are still searching and shopping for a relationship, and you just have someone online. You can just do it that way, and then FaceTime. There's no interaction anymore. There's no personal interaction anymore. That's why when
Let me
people are
just
so
put something.
surprised when I say to them, "How are you today?" They're like, people are shocked. They're like, "Oh, are you talking? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you." People are shocked when you say, "How are you?" And they're like, "Are you talking? You talking to me?" I'm great. And I'll say, "How are you, Sandra? How are you, Derek?" Look
Yeah,
at their name tag, and they're like, "Do you? Oh, I'm good, thanks." It's not
yeah.
back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. How are you today? Oh, I'm good today. It wouldn't be so uncommon to have personal interaction, but nowadays, and these kids too. How do you discipline a kid now? Give them an iPad. Shut up. Sit in the back of a car.
Or
We used to have to.
how do you discipline a kid? Take away their iPad or their iPhone or their laptop. I have seen some videos on TikTok where there's no timeout anymore. There's no ass whoopings anymore. It is they take the phone out of the child's hand. They could be as young as 3. And when I say them, these kids are having full on nervous breakdowns. I saw this woman, she had the baby looked like it was probably 3 or 4
Three.
months old, and the
Right.
baby was
No,
crying
years.
their eyeballs out. No. I'm saying this was another video that I saw. This woman had this baby was like 3 or 4 months old. She was holding the baby. The baby wouldn't stop crying. He was crying, crying, crying. And I'm like, where's this video going? I'm like, either the baby needs a diaper change or the baby's just hungry. She put the cell phone on top of the baby's hands, and that little 3-4 month old baby literally picked it up and shut the fuck up.
I saw the 3 to 4 year old. She said, "I'm gonna take your iPad away." He goes, "I dare you." He said, "I dare you take
Oh,
my
I didn't
iPad
see
away.
that.
I'm gonna send that to you." He's like, "I dare you I dare you." And she's like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "I dare you." He said, try to take my iPad away." And she was like, "I'm gonna find it for you. I'm gonna send it to you." I was like,
Well, that's no different than the teenager. Remember that teenager? Did y'all see that video? It was a while back, probably I'd say like
"Oh
several
yeah,
months
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah."
The teenager literally demolished his whole room
The house.
because
Yeah.
house
Broke the window.
he did something and the mother took away his iPhone or iPad or what have you, and he absolutely went insane, like criminally insane. Like he tore up his entire room. He was breaking windows. He was throwing shit. He was moving from room to room, throwing shit around the house. I was like,
Well,
that's
remember the kid in
problematic.
Pennsylvania killed his mother because of the iPad. He
I'm
killed
telling
her.
you, it's only going to get worse. Trust, it's only
Oh,
going to
It's
get
only getting
worse.
worse.
And I'm just glad that I'm the age that I am, that I've had a normal life as far as like high school without the issues of like online bullying and all of that stuff. I'm so glad that I grew up when I did grow up, because I couldn't tell you, I don't know, if I was a teenager or in my 20s right now, I wouldn't even know what I would do. I don't even know how I would cope,
Chris,
especially with bullying.
Yeah.
you remember the movie Hitch, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to teach these people, these young dudes, how to date.
Yeah. But as I
Make them
said,
pay you.
but as I said, it doesn't really make a difference anymore because they don't feel the need to do the stuff.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
that's
I've done it.
everyone.
I do it because I like the reaction because it's unexpected.
Right.
That's what I like. I like the fact that when I go, what are you doing? Stay. Let me open the door for you. And they're like, oh, I'm not used to it. I like that. I like that
I
because
refuse to believe that it's a lost. That is a totally lost game. I think that if people start acknowledging, I mean, people are putting their stuff out, and you can even see in the comments, the majority of people don't seem to feel that that's acceptable behavior in dating. So there
mm,
are people out there. I mean, like, if everybody in the comments was like, "Yeah, I would fuck her. I wouldn't do X, Y, and Z either," and blah blah. But that's not what people are saying in the comments, in the discussion. It's more or less like we need to get back to that part of making people feel respected in a and not even dating relationship, but respected as you start to get to know someone. It's about
yeah,
common decency.
yeah, but also you know, feminism and independence of like
No, no, no.
that comes into
Oh,
It
play.
has
I would
been
have to. I
around
have to agree with you.
since
I
the
have to agree with you,
70s.
Chris.
It has been around since the 70s. And then
Nope.
yes, there are some women who are just like, oh, don't want matter of fact, I don't know too many feminists that don't want to be respected as a person worthy enough for you to open a door for them. They might say, oh, you
Nope.
don't have to do that, but it's not the majority. Majority of women want
I
to be
know
treated like
some
women.
women. Oh,
I
I
know
know some women, and I have some women in my family that I look at them and I'm like, well, when you get treated the way you get treated, don't complain to me. Like I don't need a man to do nothing for me. I'm independent. I got my own money. I got my own house. Great.
those are
We're good.
people who are
Let me finish.
using
Let
you
me finish. Let
first.
me finish. Let me finish. But it's like courting, same thing. I have been told why he opening my door because he's being a gentleman. I don't need him to open my door. I went out. This was a long time ago. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I went out on a date. This was a long time ago, and the gentleman that I went out on a date with, he did everything. He opened my doors, which I loved. He walked on the outside of the street. Didn't have to say nothing. None of that. He already knew. When we got to the restaurant, he was like, "What are you thinking about getting? Like, what are you looking at for drinks? Like, what are you thinking about drinking?" And I'm like, "I think I'm gonna get like champagne or whatever, or whiskey or whatever I was drinking." And well, what about food? What are you thinking about ordering? And I would say, this looks good. I think I'm gonna get that. I think I'm gonna order that. As soon as the waiter came, he ordered everything for me. The lady's gonna have this. Gonna start off with this cocktail, and then we've decided we're going to get this as an appetizer and she's going to have this as her entree and I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. I told a member of my family, now nothing panned out with this dude and he was a great dude and everything, but it just wasn't, we just weren't incompatible with each other, whatever. It was what it was. But anyway, when I told a member of my family that, and I was impressed because when he first did it, I was like, oh wow, because that was the first time I've ever had that happen to me. And I was like, wow, I kind of like that. When I told a member of my family that, they were like, that's stupid. Why would you let you have a mouth? Like, why is he ordering? That seems like he's controlling or he's this. I'm like, no, that's just, he's chivalrous. He's just being a man. He's doing, you know, I didn't take offense to that. Totally got offended. Got offended that he opened the doors for me. Got offended that he called me ma'am. I don't want nobody. Why is he calling you ma'am? I'm like, because maybe it's kind of like a sign of respect. Like he's just being courteous and nice. Oh, if anybody calls me ma'am, that's just telling, that's a sign that I'm just old. I don't want nobody calling me ma'am. So sometimes you are your own. Sometimes women and people can be their own worst enemy by
I
blocking
get
those
that. I
blessings.
get
You
that, and
want it,
I still
but
don't
then you
think it's
don't
the.
want it.
I don't think it's the majority. I don't, because I get, that people do have that, but I'm listening to, especially when I hear a lot of black women say it. I feel like a lot of times it comes from a place of hurt. You don't want to put yourself out there to believe in anybody that's going to treat you like you should be treated because they haven't seen it. Like, okay, we always talk about men walking on, on the outside towards the street. But I see young mothers walking with their children, like 3 and 4 years old, and they're on the outside. So they
They don't
don't
know any
even
better.
know that, huh?
People don't know
Like
any
I would
better.
never walk down the street with my grandchildren and they're on the side of the street. I would be on the side of the street as as their grandmother. So if they don't know enough to do that for their own child, why would you think they would know enough that a man, it's a
To do that.
gentlemanly thing for a man to do? So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these things, and people don't know. They might not see
Right.
it. They might not, be aware of it because that's not how they grew up. And I
Right.
think that things can be saved because I don't think at the end of the day the majority of women want that. And I don't even, and then you think about the men who really want to do those things, what outlet do they have? And then some may not know, and they may want to be better. They may really want to be better, but not know how to be
I
better
think.
because
I
no
agree.
one taught them.
I agree. It's all upbringing. If you didn't
I
have
know
that,
that I'm
if you didn't
very
have that coming up,
optimistic,
Yeah,
right?
but
And
as
especially
I
when
said,
it comes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
when it comes, I think in this generation, and when it comes to that kind of stuff, men just want to get straight to what do I have to do to get what I need to get? And I don't know
Boys
if they're
do
if
think
they're
that
not
way.
even if they're not even aware of that your odds would be better if you treated them this way. I don't think because obviously women haven't been treated that way, so they're used to not being treated that way. So it's not anything new, and they're still going to be dating you. By the way, look,
see, that's not
I
even
think that's
funny.
a skit. I think that's a skit.
that's a
I
young boy
think
having a
that little
skit.
boy, I think, but send it to me so I can see his face clearly because I can't see it that great from your
Yeah,
Okay,
phone.
put it in our group chat.
I'm
Child,
hoping.
all right. So we look at here. We are 37 minutes in. We could talk about this all damn day. This is a just topic of discussion that can
Well,
just go
definitely
on and be never ending.
revisit
you know,
it.
but
I mean,
bottom
because
line,
it
Sheila,
definitely needs to be revisited.
I don't think men want to do that anymore.
I don't know.
I don't think they
No,
want to do it anymore.
I know people like our age who want to date and court me. So I don't think it's lost. I don't, I hate to always. I don't like to bring things back to me because I know my circle is small. The people I know is small. I'm in a small state, so I can't be like, well, I have friends with this or whatever. So I hate to do that. But reading the comments from people in a lot of these posts on TikTok, I don't think that people just want this kind of non-dating, let's just jump in all the time. Yes, there are a lot of people who do, and they are very vocal about that, and that's what you hear about a lot of the time. But I don't think it's the majority. And then if that is the case for Black women who don't want that, or any woman that doesn't want it, then you definitely need to expand your horizons.
Well, I'm gonna say I'd have to agree with you. I want to be hopeful, um, because if it keeps going down this slippery slope that I've been seeing online and stuff, then I hope I'm not. I don't think I'll be alive. But I just think people just aren't gonna get married anymore.
See, but the
I don't
hope
know.
comes from the comments to me. Like I said, there's the dumbest videos, and
Yeah,
whether they're real or fake, the dumbest. But the hope comes from reading the comments because most of the comments are thinking like you and me. Even some of the men, and I've seen a lot of men, and I'm like impressed with a lot of Black men saying this is not how you date a woman. This is not what you say to a woman. I see a lot of those now too.
yeah.
I don't think people just know how to
It's
interact with each other
interesting.
anymore.
You
Yeah.
don't think people are
Period.
what?
Just don't know how to interact with each other anymore. Period. Being everyone's selfish, everyone's out for themselves, whatever they need to get to themselves, and how they're going to get it, and what's the easiest way to get it. That's the way with the millennials are with money, with not working at a job, they're not working hard at stuff. That's what people don't want to. They don't want to work. People do not want to work. And by you going around to the other side of the car and opening the door, and by you walking on the inside and making that a point, that's work. It's extra work you have to do. And
Yeah.
people don't want to do that. If they don't have to, people do not want to do, they don't want to have to say hello to you. They don't want to have to deal with you or be nice to you if you're customer service. Period. People are selfish nowadays. There's no personal interaction and people don't know how to act. Let's go.
Wait, no, no,
Yeah.
no. I
People
got one
sure,
more
sure,
one
people
more
sure don't know how
comment.
to act.
One more comment. You said it yourself, Chris. When you speak to somebody that are not expecting it, they're like, "Oh, me? Thank you." So I don't believe that people don't want that or don't want that
I
interaction
didn't say they didn't
because
want it.
once you
I'm talking
give
about doing it.
right,
Yeah.
but exactly. But if okay, you're doing it, and then let's do an experiment. Let's just all do it for a whole week and see what the interaction is from other people. Because I really believe that once you start engaging with people, they engage back. And nine times out of ten, it is
But
very
you have to,
positive.
yeah, but you have to do that. People don't want to put that extra work in. That's my point.
Yeah.
I didn't say
But
people didn't appreciate it
then
or like it or understand it. They just don't want to do, don't want to have to do it. If it's
right, but
extra
if
work,
one
why do
person
extra
does
work?
it, if anybody listening to this podcast decides, to say, you know what, I'm going to follow that same lead and I'm going to do that. Just say hello to somebody. I mean, I get it. I'm not trying to be Miss Pollyanna about bullshit or whatever. I'm just saying I don't think it's a total loss, but it is how we have to start changing and directing ourselves out in public. Be a little bit nicer because people are I feel people are hungry for that too because there's so many I would
Oh, I
try
think
it.
people are hungry for it, and I would welcome it. But I think this climate that we're living in, this world that we're living in today, I don't see none of that shit happening no time soon or getting any better.
And
I think it's gonna
it
get
would be
it's gonna get
nice.
even worse before it gets any better.
And my
Listen.
and my final point, going back to your original statement about the woman and saying, why should I come over? If it came to that, at 11 o'clock, when she said, I will change my plans for you to my Thanksgiving plans, I will not go to, and he even responds with that, who knows how she's going to respond back to it? She may be like, oh, wow, I wish she had called earlier, but oh, well. She allows that. She allows
Yep.
that. And he's
She
he's
said
gonna be
she
the next
was.
time next time he's gonna be like, well, why the fuck should I open the door for? If all I have to do is say, well, why am I coming over? Oh yeah, okay, then I'll come over. Shit.
But again, it goes
Convince
back to
me.
my point where people don't know really how to be treated because they haven't been treated that way. And
It's a two
hey,
way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
giving I'm giving you a side income, dude. A side income. Teach him.
It's
All
crazy.
right, let's go to Married at First Sight. That's quick anyway.
It is quick because my notes is very slim. I mean, they're still on their honeymoon, so uh, I'm good.
Gonna
Let's just
start.
cut to Lauren and Orion. I only have one thought on them two. Um, Orion is he's just going through the motions. He ain't into her. I think he just wants to be the nice guy, and I think he's just going through the motions. He's very complimentary towards her. Like he gives her like great compliments, like which confused the hell out of me when he said that Lauren, when he told the guys Lauren is everything I want in a partner. I was like, what? Like that I was confused by that. I don't think he likes her. I think he likes her, but I don't think that's not she may be everything he wants in a partner, but just not her as his partner. I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't like them as a couple
Okay.
anymore. I can't see that working.
Go ahead, Sheila.
I have a couple of things. If
I
you
do
want to
too.
jump
You know,
in.
what I mean? Yeah. Let me jump in. I'm gonna jump in. First of all, he is way too sensitive. He is way too. I am a clutch my pearls. He is way too sensitive to be so reactive to a woman he just met, and then she's trying hard. I love her. I love the fact that she's grounded. I love the fact that she's mature. I love the fact that she's trying to work with him. But he is way too sensitive about things. I understand sensitivity, but she's not trying to attack him. He thinks she's trying to attack him. He thinks that she's like, he needs to calm the fuck down and relax. He needs to calm the fuck down and be a man and be like, okay, hey, I had a problem with that, but then let it go. He can't let anything go. He's way too sensitive. I think he does like her, and I think she likes him, but she's gonna get
He
turned off
definitely does like you.
way quick. But if he keeps being so damn sensitive, but she's not trying to attack him. She understands what it's like to be a black woman. It's not like he's talking to someone who has no understanding of what it's like to be a minority. He's acting like, anyway, he needs to calm the fuck down. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So I had a conversation with our friend Tracy, and I should have brought her on today, but this was like a little quick. But anyway, I'm gonna maybe get her for the next one.
Yeah.
She thought Lauren was wrong for the redskin thing, and I'm gonna let her explain it next week. For the next one. But yeah, so I really want to hear her perspective on that one. I find him to be an emotional manipulator. I don't think he's sincere. I think he is very, very sensitive, but I think he also he weaponizes it because him not being able to let it go. And I still go back to what Lauren said. You were so quick to let the white man who made the reservation joke just, no worries, bro. No worries, bro. But hard, so hard. I still go back to that. And then
Mm-hmm.
this time, it's like he's that guy that you get into an argument and he gets so angry and then he stops talking to you. And that's the worst thing you can do for me. I don't like people who shut me out and don't let me explain, and he doesn't want to listen. So to me, I feel like he really manipulates on that emotional thing, because you go, he's so nice, he's such a sweet guy, but really he's a little fucking terrorist. That's what he is. And she deserves so much better. And the whole time that they're together, I'm cringing. Like when they were on the boat, I'm like, I'm waiting for something bad to happen, or for her to say something for him to get all sensitive and moody about, or whatever. And he didn't. He saved it to the end. And then to
Mm.
get mad at her because and I'm like, how honest should you be in these situations? Because obviously, a lot of times it's not worth it. When she said that she slept with someone 2 months before, and he was just like, knowing that and remember, we had this discussion last time, because I said, I do not believe that if you get that letter and it tells you they picked you, then you should be done with all sexual relations. She hadn't gotten that letter yet. She didn't
Yeah.
know, or whatever. And she seems to be an extremely sexual person and open and
Oh
honest
yeah.
about it. This woman is the most mature woman we've ever seen on this show,
I
because
agree.
she's going to go in for all the questions. She's not going to ask you the fluff. She's going to ask you
No.
serious questions. When she went down and said how she likes it done, she's giving you what? I'm like, ma'am, I
I
love
love
her.
that.
And
Yeah.
the fact that he was just like, oh, now it's taking the sex off the table for me. Manipulator,
Exactly. He got
terrorist.
all
In,
judgmental about it
in,
too. Like his whole
Re-
face, his when she said, herein lies the real thing for me. If you don't want to know, don't ask.
don't ask. There you go.
Be careful what you ask for, because it's like snooping, like women and men that go through each other's phones and emails and stuff like that. be careful what you'll find, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get your feelings hurt. And so you had to go down there and you had to ask her. And she was honest and told you 2 months ago. She could have lied and said, oh,
Yep.
2-3 years ago. She could have lied. She was honest with him and said 2 months ago. And as soon as she said that, his whole face just changed. And he just like was looking at, he was giving her that look. It's all in his eyes. He was giving her a look like he should have just said, "You filthy whore," because
He's
that's how
like
he
this.
was looking at her. That's yep.
Yeah. I
And
don't
then
like him.
and then to
I don't
make and
like
then to
him. I'm
make the
over him.
comment, yeah, then to make the comment of, well, just so indignant. Well, that takes intimacy, sex off the table for me
Oh.
immediately. If I was her, I'd have been like, good, because I
Okay.
don't want to fuck your scrawny ass anyway.
And she was on the verge of fucking him. If he wanted,
Exactly.
she was like, oh, let's tease it out. Let's see how we are. And she's like, oh yeah. And he was like, oh, really? 2 weeks, 2 months? Oh, and she was surprised. She was surprised. She was taken back on. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? Like everybody else in the world, what's wrong with that? And he's like, oh, well, now I'm worth more. What
But
is that?
then,
I'm
Bro,
worth.
you ain't all that.
before then he was just like, well, sex is very important.
Six.
It means it's very deep for me. And she said, oh, for me too. But her saying that and then saying 2 months ago, he's like, no, it's not that. In his head, I'm saying he's probably not
Yeah.
saying it out loud, but that's basically what he's thinking. Oh, well, you just had sex with some random person. You don't know what her situation was.
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope. Nope. And
Yeah, he's
again, I don't care.
horrible.
I don't care if it was some random one night stand hookup. That was 2 months ago. That was before you met me. I don't need to know. And again, don't ask. If you don't really want to know, then shut your damn mouth. Don't ask.
And part of me feels like, and I'm surprised you haven't said it, Tanya, he might be fucking gay. He might want a man.
Well, remember, he said that in the
He kissed
pre-show,
one
he
time.
kissed a man. He went out on a date with a man and kissed him one time, and that's when he realized he wasn't gay.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
don't
I
know.
think I think he might be. I think he might be. On both swings, both sides of the fence.
No, I
Again,
think he
no
might just be
judgment,
gay.
no judgment there. But she swings. She says she's bisexual too, or queer, or whatever she is. But when she's with a man, if she's in it when married, she's not gonna. She's 100% loyal to her man. So look at here. I don't know. I don't. I just think these two are just going to have a tug of war. It's their relationship, unless the experts can get in and kind of work with them. I think it's going to be a continuous tug of war between the cultures
He,
and
but
But
just
he's gonna
women
make
in
it.
right,
general.
He's gonna
he's
make it a
making
tug
it
of
a
war.
cultural
Yeah,
issue.
I know. That's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
And he's
Yeah,
using
I
it as a
agree.
weapon. He's using
Hmm.
it as a weapon. He's not trying to understand anything about her culture. He's not trying to meet her halfway. I think with anybody he's with, whether they like I used to say this, like when the first white person I ever dated, I wanted them to understand that I'm fully black. So I was probably a little bit too fucking militant. That's how he is. He's just going overboard trying to prove his Native Americanism. And is his father white? Is his father Caucasian? I
I
think
have
his
no idea.
father's
I don't think. I
Caucasian,
don't think.
right?
I don't know what his. I know his
I,
mother's Indian.
yeah, his mother definitely is Native American, but I think his father might be Caucasian. I'm not 100% on that one. But whatever the case might be, he is going overboard to prove that he is so into his culture and his culture means so much to him and you got to respect it and you got to do this or whatever. He's just doing too much and he uses it as a weapon to kind of like shut people down.
Yeah, but it's like
Yep.
dude, I respect your culture. I'm all about respecting your culture, and especially if I'm going to enter into a marriage or a relationship with someone that is of a different culture from me, like Native American. But it ain't all about you. It's like the way he talks about it. It's like it's just that's the be all end all, and like he doesn't really dive deep when she starts talking about her culture.
He
Because
don't care.
and then again, let's go back. Let's go back. to the episode when the N word and the the skin color, he had no problem when she said real quick. He jumped on it when she's like, "Have you ever used the N word?" And oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Mm-hmm.
And she should. It was at that moment that she should have been like, "Ooh, that's kind of fucked up." She should have did to him what he did to her. It was like he was so dismissive about it, and it was so nonchalant. Like, "Oh, sure, I've used the N word several times. Oh, when I was in high school." And then when she did the redskin comment, and he just literally,
And she didn't call him redskin. She just said, "Oh, your skin is red,"
Is
and
red.
then
Yeah.
and laughed about it. And somebody said that the laugh was disrespectful, and I'm like, "Oh," but it was a. I get where she was going. I didn't think she
yeah,
was being disrespectful to him,
It
but she
wasn't
no,
took
coming
it
out of
that way.
malice.
And then she acknowledged his feelings. I'm
basically.
sorry you feel that way. That was not my intent. And you couldn't take that? Mm-mm. That
Because
you
he
don't,
didn't
Nope.
she don't
acknowledge
need him.
her. He didn't acknowledge her feelings when he copped up to saying the N word. He never said to her anything like, you know what? All he said was, he, like most people, like most non-black people do when they said it before. Well, I was young, stupid, in high school and college, and cut me some slack. I was young. I didn't know any better. Yes, you did. You knew better.
And
Don't be
let me tell
stupid.
you, she's a strong woman because I would never ask anybody that question because I don't want to
Never.
fucking know.
First of
I
all,
would
I would
never
never ask.
ask.
No, I'm never asking anyone outside of my race if have you ever said it, because again, be careful what you ask for. You already know the
Mhm.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
You already know the answer to that question. My question to him would have been like, have you ever dated a black woman, or shit, have you ever where were you on January 6th?
Well, we know he wasn't. Well, you know what? You can't say that. But no, and that's what I like about her. She really goes in and asks the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have the balls to ask all the questions that she asks, even the sexual ones. Not like no, not that
Oh,
quickly.
I have the balls. I need to act, if I'm going to entertain a relationship or a marriage with you, I need to know everything physical, sexual, what's on the table, what's off the table, what do
Yeah.
you like? I'm going to tell you what I like. We got to go
Mhm.
there, because if the sex is trash, this marriage isn't going to last. Period.
I'm
I
gonna
got to
ask,
go.
but I'm not usually not. Well, it's a different. They're on the escalated kind of thing. But let's go on to the next one. Who's next?
Want to talk about, well, go to Cameron and Claire.
Okay, let me
Yawn.
ask a question.
I'm like, yawn.
Um, Speaking with Tracy again, she felt that Cameron was extremely aggressive during the paintball. Well, not the paintball, the painting thing, and she kept saying, "Look at the way that he looked at her when she messed up his painting," and then he went all in and like really threw that paint at her. She thought that was like extremely aggressive. She's like, "Watch out because that man is trash." I'm not getting that 100%. And I watched that scene like three times.
Yeah,
Three
I think I'm gonna have to
times.
go. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that, because
Hmm.
yeah, I'll have to go back and rewatch that scene. I didn't see his look when she did that to his painting. I did obviously saw him throwing the paint at her and stuff, and I kind of just blew it off as, they're just having little cute
Hmm.
little fun. They're in this little paint thing. I will go back and rewatch that, so I can't really form an opinion on that.
What about you, Chris?
I
Oh,
don't think, here's my thing with Cameron. Um, I do kind of think that he is kind of an elitist, or maybe that might not be the word. Um,
Chris is like, yeah, he
I
is.
think I think he's a typical European that comes over
Even
to
though
this
it's not Europe.
country, or not Europe, or wherever he's from, New Zealand.
Oh yeah, he is from New Zealand.
Yeah, he's from New
South
Zealand,
Pacific.
but say
But
it's like
that's
people
even
that come.
worse.
It's
That's
like people that
worse.
come over here from like New Zealand or London or Paris or what have you, the other countries, I should say. Um, and they kind of have this like, oh well, where I'm from, this is how we do things, or this is how we act, or this is how we communicate, or this is what we do. And sometimes they might look down on some of the things that we do as Americans. I'm not saying that that's, that's just Cameron, but I I don't know. I think that the reason why Claire is so, I don't know if it's his boyish looks. Like he looks like he's 12, even though he's like 6'7". He kind of has like this, his face is just like, he has the face of like a 13-year-old boy. And I think she's not really into that. That's just the way she looks at him. I just don't think she's attracted to him.
Right.
And I think it could
I
be
don't think
the
so.
boyish looks. I think she's probably, and I don't know her from a hole in the wall, so I can't even believe I'm saying this, but she might be used to like a more like manly man, like more rugged, even though he's a biker, but more rugged. Like he looks like a fucking man, not a little boy, not a preteen.
Well, she was all upset that he didn't tell her that he was attracted to her, and he was like, he said it to everyone else, but he didn't say it to me because
Their
she's not giving off
communication
the
is
vibe that
awful.
I'm. Yeah, she's not giving off the vibe that she wants to have
Mm-mm,
anything be close to him. She has not touched him at all. He's put
mm-mm,
his at least put his arm around her, and she's kind of like,
Yeah,
she sits there. She doesn't put her hand on his lap. It's nothing, and she clowns his clothes. Clown. That's a one clue. If a woman is not saying, "Hey, maybe you should," clowning his clothes, and he's like, "My clothes are great, so I don't know what your problem is." I'm like, that is a
mm-mm.
recipe for disaster. They do not. She is not going. She don't like him. She don't like him, and he's. I don't like them. I don't like either one of them.
but then she got mad. Do you see how she got mad when they were on the van and he moved over to the seat across because he had his leg room. That seat didn't have anything in front of it, and he just wanted to stretch out. And she copped an attitude with that, like he didn't tell her he was moving. And I'm just saying to myself, honey, I'm saying to her, I'm looking at it, saying to her, like, you don't even touch him, you don't engage with him. So why are you all of a sudden now copping an attitude because he got up and moved to the seat? And when you question him on it, he just said he kind of like did this with his legs, like leg room, and she had an attitude about that.
Isn't she a therapist?
Yeah, she is.
And she don't know how to.
Yes.
She don't know how to figure out
Don't
his
know how to
personality of
communicate.
like, okay, let me take him in. Let me listen to him. Let me see. I don't know how
But
her communication. Go ahead.
did you all peep what she said about her dating experiences prior? She might as well be what's the girl that never dated, Emily. She might as well be her because she really has never had anybody, like she said, really interested in her. I
Yeah.
feel like she has been other than sex. That's the only thing that, she's ever gotten out of a relationship, but no one's ever wanted, from her words, ever wanted to have a relationship with her. So she clearly
Mm.
does not know how to. And that is
Yeah.
part of like her being a therapist. You would think, okay, the communication she should be on Lauren's level, right? But
Oh
she's not.
yeah.
She's nowhere
Yeah.
near Lauren's level as far as like communication grows. They keep having these like, when they're off interviewed to themselves and they're both saying basically the same thing, but you're not saying it to each other. What is the problem? Also, I find her to be very passive aggressive white woman. Extremely passive aggressive with her bullshit. And somebody pointed out too that she is messy when it comes to the other women. And I think, especially when she's looking at Becca, go back and look at how she looks at Becca. She's not feeling these women who have good relationships, and she don't like Emily either. That's my
Yeah, I
impression
kind
of
of
her.
got that. I kind of got the impression that she wasn't fond of Emily. I'll have to go
Mhm.
back and look and see
She's
what
not a
her.
girl's girl. I don't think she's a girl's
Yeah.
girl.
I don't think she's just. I don't know. I mean, I think she's more. encased with her family because of she's a quadruplet. I think her main core friends are like within her family, like her sisters. Well, the brother passed away, but I think it's like her friends are like her family.
Yeah, but she seems like she's a petty bitch, though.
Yeah, she could. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene too. With I kind of sensed that she wasn't really liking Emily, but I'll have to go back with and look at how she was with Becca.
And
Um,
she was the only one to say, like, when Lauren and Orion were talking, and even though they made it seem like everything is great in front of other people, but she did,
yeah,
Lauren did say, we've had some bumps in the road, and I don't know how far she went into it, but she was the only one to go like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that Lauren and Orion were just like having it. So she's a little messy. Yeah, I, I gotta watch her a little bit more, but I don't like her at all. She has really
yeah.
rubbed me the wrong way the entire time. So who's next?
I guess we'll go to Becca and Austin.
Yeah,
I
I
got
think
She's
nothing.
great.
I got nothing. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
Okay. The only gripe that I had was Austin when he was with the guys. He downplayed the how good it was going with him and Becca.
Well,
I get it that he was like he owned it and was like I just didn't want to seem like we were just so doing so wonderful and so great. I didn't want to come off as like braggadocious, I guess. But I just look, I don't give a shit. If I'm in a great relationship and I'm in a great space with my person, if somebody's asking, I'm telling. I'm going to be like, we're great. The experts got it right. I wouldn't downplay it. I'm not to downplay it. I could tell that kind of hurt her when he told her about that she was kind of like, really? Like, oh, yeah.
yeah, but I think he really felt bad for the other guys are not having half as much interaction and fun and everyone else's problem. I think you're just being like, I don't want to brag, but everything is great. And I don't
yeah,
know why you guys are having such a hard time because my girl is fantastic. And I think he just downplayed it because he felt bad
Yeah.
because everyone else is struggling in their relationships. And he's like kissing her in front of them, has his arm around her. They're like in love and they're,
and for her to get mad
blissed.
about it, that was a red
I think
flag
she
for
was
me.
mad. I think she
That
was
was
just a little
stupid.
hurt.
That was stupid
Yeah,
in
she
my
wasn't
for
really
me.
mad
That
mad
was
per se.
stupid.
I think she was just a little bit hurt by it. Like, to be like,
Why?
well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like that part, but they're fine. They seem like they're good. I want to see what it is when the hard questions come in because she seems to
Yes.
me to be a very hardcore liberal type person, and we don't know what he is, what religion he
Hmm.
is, what his politics is, or whatever. Even though I mean, she could be a hardcore liberal, but if her husband is like a hardcore Republican, we know that white women will change to that. There's that chance that she'll be like, you know what? I'm that person too. We've seen that. So it might not be a huge issue, but I want to see how
Yeah.
they, because I feel like his family, his parents, his mother, I feel like they're hardcore Republican. Like
Yeah.
we're
I
the January 6th Republican.
yeah, I want to see when they get back because it's just been so good for them two on this from the wedding to the honeymoon. I want to see how when they get to that real life and their like apartment together.
Mhm.
I'll be curious as to how that pans out.
And one of
So
the
yeah,
reasons why they're doing so well is because they're not having hard conversations, which is great.
no,
Go ahead
yep,
and enjoy your time. And some part of me is like, Lauren, maybe save some and let it kind of like play out over time. You don't need to learn every single thing right now. Even though I'm glad she's learning that he's an asshole, all the tough
yeah,
stuff right up front might not be all necessary. Enjoy the honeymoon, enjoy those days. So, yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, agreed.
So
Um,
next one, Emily and Brennan.
Emily and Brennan.
Emily, what happened to your head, girl? What happened to
She
you?
had those extensions in. She had those extensions in that they fuse, not
Uh-huh.
not sewn in. It was like fused white women
Mm,
extensions, I call them.
mhm. I actually had those one time
Um,
years ago.
this episode, I was a little bit more hopeful for them, I should say. Like I think, um,
I'm confused by him. I just can't get a good read on him. He feels
yeah.
Yeah.
You
distant
see, that's
to
why I
me.
paused because it's like I don't know. Like, yeah, he's kind of like. Like,
I,
dude, like, show us a little bit more. Like, I need more from Brennan. Like, he's
hmm
very kind of like reserved, and when he says stuff like he was really impressed when she got on that little wave runner thing where she messed up her hair. Um, but he's kind of like even keel. You know what I mean? It's not like he was like, oh my God, she did it. Like she finally got in the air, woohoo, yada, yada, yada. He was just like, okay, nice. I'm impressed that, she was a trooper. She really did that. Like, even though she kept falling, he's like very monotone and just
hmm
kind of like, eh. Like, I
Yeah,
can't get a
I
really
can't
good
get a
read
read
off
on
of
him.
him.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So part
So
of
I
me is
don't
just like,
know.
for her, I still like her. I know you guys don't like her. You think she's a drunk. I still like her. I don't see that yet. But him, I'm just concerned about because he's so emotionally flat.
Yes.
So I want to see where
Yeah.
he goes with, like,
Yeah.
expressing that to her, because she's clearly looking for something. I hate when women say something, oh, I'm not in the inner circle yet. Calm down, girl. No, you're not in
I
the inner
know.
circle. Yeah, he
You're
just met
not
you
in the inner
2 days
circle.
ago.
Stop.
Calm
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. And
And she looked all hurt and everything. It's like,
yeah,
but
I think like his whole like even keel tone. It kind of gives me. He's got like one red flag. That's giving me one red flag on him because it's like he's so this like so flat that it's like does he go from 0 to like 60? You know what I mean? Like if they have a conflict, is he gonna go full narcissist, toxic, and like go in on her instead of having like a healthy debate or healthy
mhm,
conversation? He's given me off of that. And I'm always going back to what he said about his parents when he said, my parents have been married over 40, 50 years. He's like, but they haven't had the best relationship, even though they're married and they're going to be married forever. They're toxic with each other.
mhm,
So if I'm thinking, I keep going back to that because he's so reserved and so inward with himself and how what he talks about. It's
mhm.
the same tone of whatever he's talking about. Where I'm like, oh, when something hits the fan, is he gonna go full out of control?
Yeah, yeah. And that makes you wonder
Um,
too, because the toxic part is like that's when you learn how. I mean, well, for me, that's how I learn how to communicate with men is by watching my parents communicate with each other. So there's certain
Hmm.
things, like I say, that I won't do or say in an argument because my parents didn't do or say that. So if you're constantly seeing toxic people yelling and that's how they communicate and being furious or whatever, how do you, I mean, he could be the opposite and be like, I never want to be like that. That
Yeah,
might be why he's just so chill, or he could just completely blow up. So that'd be
yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see how he acts when, because obviously there's going to be they're going to have disagreements,
Yeah.
obviously, especially when they get back and she's going to want to go see her friends and she's going to go want to get hammered. That's what she's used to. She's in them streets. So either she's going to
Girl,
do
he's
one
so
of two things.
disrespectful to that woman.
Listen, she's in them streets. She's just listen. She's shown us who she was. She has no problem with showing us who she is. I'm just hoping she's either going to do one of two things. When they get back, she's either going to be the wife, she's going to go back to work, and she's going to be a wife and put her all into this with Brennan, or she's going to get back, she's going to go to work, be a wife, and also be in them streets
Who's that?
and come home hammered.
Girl, go ahead. What's that?
I can't hear you. You're muted.
My neighbor made zucchini bread.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's
I love
good. I
zucchini
love
bread. Very
zucchini bread.
nice.
I do
So
too. I
yeah,
got good
so
neighbors.
so with them, I'm just I have to wait it out. I need to see a lot of them,
Yeah.
all of them, to be honest with you. I need to see how they're going to interact with
But
each other when they get home.
let me. I think one thing about him that she really liked that I don't think she's ever had before is his patience with all the hair stuff. He
Yes,
hasn't
I was
really
impressed with that. Yep.
he hasn't really judged her. You know, he's been going with the flow, and I don't think she's ever had since she's never been in a relationship. She's never had the support of someone else going. I'm going through all this. I don't feel pretty. I'm not this and the other. And he's kind of like, oh, it's all good. You know. So I think that's
Mhm.
emboldened her to him a little bit more, just
Yeah.
because she's never
Well,
seen that
because
patience before.
she was vulnerable at that moment. You know, her hair was a matted mess,
Mm-hmm.
and and I'm glad you brought that up because I was impressed by that because I can see
Mm-hmm.
how she was nervous, like, oh my god, my hair weave, I got to have it taken out, and then the hairstylist came and was like cutting her hair, and I could see. I mean, as a woman, that would freak any woman out. You know, you got this man that don't speak English, and he's a hairstylist, and he's just basically taking scissors to the back of your hair. I can see her being very anxious and vulnerable, like, oh my God, she had that look of insecurity, like he's probably thinking I'm ugly, and now I'm getting rid of all this hair, and she's like, because she kept saying, I can still pull it back, you know, I still have some hair. You know, she was exhibiting some insecurities, and I commend him for that. He was very, oh, it's no big deal. That, you know, you still, you look good, you're looking good, it's all good, good job. And so
I
I
think
give
they have
him
a
that.
chance. I think they
Yeah.
have a chance.
I just
I do
hope that
too.
he's not the ticking time bomb that he's going to turn into, like, and be like, well, fuck you, bitch, and start going ham on her. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I think that's it. We covered
Yes,
everybody.
that is it. It was
Good
like
talk.
I mean, they're not like super exciting episodes, but they're good because they're just not like just craziness out the box like with some of the other seasons. So I'm
Yeah.
appreciating the seasons a little bit more. I do hope Lauren kicks him to the curb, but you know, I doubt it.
Vanessa hates it.
She hates it, hates the
She
season
can't
so
stand
far.
it. She don't like it
Yeah.
at all.
It's only
Yeah.
5 episodes, 6 episodes in.
She says she don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, I
It is.
hate it.
It's a little bit low key than it was before, but I
Yeah.
like it.
I like it. I just, yeah, I'm like I said, next week I just, honeymoon's over. Let's go home. I need to start seeing them in their environment, and see the real them outside of honeymoon them. So yeah, so it should be getting interesting.
Mhm. Now,
All
before
right,
we
It
y'all.
should be
Well,
go,
good.
I'm
you are
hungry.
always giving out like okay, things to watch. You got to watch Black Cake on Hulu. Absolutely
Oh, okay.
phenomenal so
Black
I'll
far.
watch
cake.
It's
that.
like two more. Oh, you started it already?
No,
No, you said black.
I haven't started yet. I gotta queue it up.
Okay, yeah,
I'll queue it up
definitely.
when I
It's
get
so good.
home.
It's good. It's excellent. So,
Yeah.
All
all
Cool.
right.
right.
All right, y'all. Well, until next time. Peace out.